Tonight, blueprint to kill. The new evidence police say they just uncovered. The suspected Gilgo Beach serial killer's disturbing documents plotting the murders. Now, 2 new charges of murder against Manhattan architect Rex Heuermann, bringing the total number of women he allegedly killed to 6. The horrifying discovery of that planning document outlining a strategy to dispose bodies. What else it reveals? We'll show it to you. And could he be tied to other murders? In just minutes, the district attorney leading the investigation joins Top Story Live. Also tonight, rare tornado outbreak, at least a dozen twisters charging across the D.C. area. Down trees trapping people in their homes, dash cam video capturing a tornado, debris flying and a power transformer sparking, and extreme weather out west as millions bake in triple-digit heat. Speaking of the blistering heat, several Trump supporters hospitalized, waiting in line for his town hall in Phoenix. Hundreds lining up at former President Trump's first campaign rollout since his felony conviction. His pointed words and the fundraising blitz as the race for the presidency ramps up. Executive disorder? President Biden's action to drastically tighten the southern border appearing to fall flat. The numbers at the border showing his order has yet to take effect. What we're learning about the confusion from agents on the ground. Getting rid of Hunter's gun. Hallie Biden, a key witness at the heart of Hunter Biden's gun trial, takes the stand. The video showing her throwing away the gun in a parking lot dumpster. The text messages, prosecutors argue, prove Hunter was a drug addict when he purchased the gun you see here, and the wild details of the president's son's drug use on full display. The ship losing control, the crew of a large container ship losing steering power just as it was approaching a major bridge. The close call forcing people to evacuate the bridge and nearby beaches. And honoring a D-Day hero, she drew the maps the Allied soldiers used when they parachuted into France. Her pocket-sized guides helping win the battle. Top Story starts right now. And good evening. Tonight, gruesome new details in the Gilgo Beach murders. Serial killer suspect Rex Heuermann facing 2 new murder charges, now accused of killing a total of 6 women. Investigators discovering a disturbing document in his home, which they say was his blueprint plan to kill. Could he be linked to additional murders? In just moments, we speak with the district attorney leading that case. It was hair recovered from the victims' bodies that prosecutors used to tie Heuermann to the murders of 20-year-old Jessica Taylor and 28-year-old Sandra Costilla. Sandra's remains were found more than 30 years ago, back in 1993. That's signaling to investigators that Heuermann was killing victims much longer than previously thought. The New York architect was first charged with the murders of 4 women you see here, dubbed the Gilgo 4. Their bodies discovered along a stretch of beach on Long Island. The women, all sex workers, killed over a span of several decades. The news of Heuermann's arrest last July shocked the community, neighbors stunned with how the 60-year-old father of 2 could be tied to such gruesome crimes. It's not just the new charges coming to light, but the new documents investigators say they discovered in Heuermann's home in what they call a blueprint to the murders. Documents going into extreme detail with tasks to complete before, during, and after the killings. They include what problems he might come across, like DNA, tire marks, and bloodstains. He also allegedly had a list of things to remember, including that sound travels to get sleep before the hunt, and to, hit harder, among other horrifying instructions. And this all goes back to 2011 when the first remains were found within a quarter mile of each other in Gilgo Beach. Families of the victims waiting years for answers about their loved ones. Today, Jessica Taylor's cousin holding back tears.
This year has been 21 years since she was taken from us, longer than the chance that she got to be alive. I can't express what this day means after waiting and hoping for answers.
Heuermann, of course, maintains his innocence as prosecutors continue to build their case against him. And because of all this, the top prosecutor in Suffolk County, District Attorney Ray Tierney, joins us now in studio live here on Top Story tonight. Mr. District Attorney, we appreciate you being here on such a big day for your office. First of all, talk to us about the revelation that he may have been killing women longer than you originally thought.
Yeah, as we discussed today, that's not a surprise to us. I think it's been publicly disclosed. But
now you have proof,
yes. Right? And as the evidence and as the investigation unfolded, it became apparent to us that his activities went as far back as 1993.
We want to focus now on what you guys are calling the planning document, right? Because this is what's been so troubling, so sickening to so many people out there. Human's own, quote, homework, as you called it, on serial murder. I want to put up on the screen for our viewers something so they can see part of this note. We don't want to put too much of it because it's graphic. This is something he allegedly wrote. Things to remember. Sound travels, right? Get sleep before the hunt. Too tired creates problems. Hit harder. Too many hits to take down. Consider a hit to the face or neck next time for a takedown. Talk to me about the moment when your investigators found this document.
So we had seized a lot of evidence. We were going through it. Much of it was encrypted. So we were going through it. There's a lot of false leads, a lot of dead ends. And, when we found this document, we knew right away that it was a significant document.
We have more from the document we want to show, right? Because some of this stuff is just, you can't believe he spelled this out, right? I mean, again, you guys describe it as a blueprint. This is post-event. So these, theoretically, after the murders, destroy files, change tires, burn gloves, dispose of pics, have stories set. I mean, it's almost a Cliff Notes for murder, right? When you guys found this and you discovered this, and there's a lot of misspellings, we should say. Why do you think there are things misspelled there? That kind of stood out to me. It was so strange.
I think probably because the defendant is not as intelligent as he perceives himself to be.
An architect in Manhattan?
Yes.
Tell us more. This is new to us.
No, I think he's, I think he has, I think that, he perceives himself a certain way.
Yeah.
And, his obsession, first and foremost, is this preoccupation with luring and hunting women and murdering them.
Were you guys, or have you guys yet been able to match things in that document to things he actually did to the victims?
Certainly, and again, these are allegations, we need to prove them, but with regard to Jessica Taylor, she was decapitated and her hands were removed, and the planning document specifically talks about that to hinder identification.
Can you talk to us more about sort of the discovery of the document? I know you guys went back, I don't know if it was a second or a third time, but recently you were back in the house. That's when this was uncovered?
No, we recovered it in our initial search warrant back in July of last year. And, we had about well over 400 documents and devices that we had to go through. A lot of it was encrypted. So we were painstakingly going through the software. And when you talk about something that was made in 2000, you got to get the software back from 2000. So you have to put this all together. Takes a long time. We were finally able to unencrypt this and bring it back.
Because he thought he had deleted things in some of these devices that you guys were able to recover.
Sure. This particular document was found in unallocated space, which means it had been deleted and it believed to have been, gone forever. But forensic experts can retrieve that.
I'm going to put up a book for our viewers so they can see this. It's another thing that was referenced inside the document, right? Page numbers from the book about the FBI's Mindhunter, okay? It's a used copy of the book you guys apparently found as well. What do you think he gained from studying the police methods and the FBI's methods of sort of tracking serial killers?
Well, we allege, in the planning document, there's specific page numbers and passages of the Mindhunter, which was written by an FBI serial killer hunter. And, we maintain and allege that this defendant was looking at that book not to gain insight, but to help him to better hone his craft as a hunter of women.
Is it fair to say a book like that that's out there in the public could help him?
He certainly used it as such because what he was trying to do was he wasn't trying to use it to gain insight into, his motivations. He was trying to use it to gain insight into the methods by which law enforcement investigates and prosecutes.
There was so much information on that blueprint that you guys found. Were you surprised that he would be as careless as that when he's done all these other things, number one? And number two, have you ever seen something like this from a serial killer where they lay out the plan and how they do things? Is this a manifesto, if you will? Is this something that's common?
Well, I mean, I think he thought that he had destroyed it. He didn't. But I think it speaks to the obsessiveness and the this is occupying all his time. So he's constantly sort of meticulously going through things, planning things, replanning things. So that's why a document like this was created.
Do you think he had to take notes like this as a reminder because there were gaps in time where he stopped killing and/or hunting?
Well, you can see that in the document it says next time. And then it talks about other times when things didn't work out. So it's a reminder, this worked, so let's do it. This didn't work, so let's not do it.
How many more victims do you think might be out there?
Well, we've charged him with 6 murders. There's 4 more bodies on Gilgo. We said we were going to expand the investigation. Sandra Castillo was not on Gilgo. So, we're going to continue to investigate. And once we do, we'll allow our indictments to speak for us.
There were times where one victim, and I feel, I feel bad even talking about this because it's so sensitive, but there were times where victims their remains were spread out in different parts too. What do you think the motive in that was? I
think it was to hinder identification. So, in other words, the body is found in one place, but the head and the hands are found in another place, and whatever identification marks, like tattoos, those are obliterated. Again, this is an attempt to obscure and inhibit the ability.
And he was dumping all along Long Island, from what it looks like, right? Because he was going as far east as Southampton now.
So we have bodies on Gilgo Beach. We have bodies in Southampton, as well as at the end of the expressway, Manorville.
Is he cooperating in any manner?
Well, he's pled not guilty. These are allegations, and we look forward to proving him. But the case has taken a litigation posture.
And then finally, you guys were back at the house, as I mentioned. Do you think you'll keep going back? Or do you think you guys are done with the house for right now?
Well, we'll go where the investigation takes us. And we discovered this document in March. And this, along with other results of the investigation, caused us to go back into that house.
Ray, for people who may not follow this case as closely as we do here on Top Story, remind the viewers, why did your office, why did your police departments, your investigators, why were they able to crack open this case when it had been cold for so long?
Well, I think we came together as a task force. There were a number of agencies working together, FBI, Suffolk County Police, my office, to name a few. And what we were able to do was, use DNA evidence, phone evidence, and basically through a lot of information, we were sort of piece it together using all of these various different pieces of evidence.
Suffolk County District Attorney Ray Tierney, we thank you for joining us here on Top Story.
Thank you.
All right, now to our other major story we're following tonight, the rare tornado outbreak in the Northeast. Those twisters barreling through Maryland last night, leaving a devastating trail of destruction, and a tornado in Michigan turning deadly with strong winds uprooting trees and damaging homes. Our Aaron McLaughlin has the latest tonight.
That is a tornado.
A tornado tearing through the city limit, injuring 5 and leaving a trail of destruction Wednesday evening, just 25 miles outside of Washington, D.C.
See all the debris flying in there, and I was like, this is probably it right here.
It was definitely like an eerie feeling.
Travis Murphy filmed this video of the tornado from the roof of his apartment.
We rarely get any extreme weather events, much less a tornado.
Residents living on hard-hit Dogwood Drive say they've never seen anything like it.
Did you know what to do?
Not really.
I thought Maryland's pretty, safe.
Next door, Martin Perez and his family were trapped when a tree fell on his house. They're now safe.
See my daughter and my wife on my side. My wife's bleeding.
Last night, a dozen apparent tornadoes struck the state of Maryland, with a total of 22 reported across 5 states. At least one was deadly. In Michigan, a 2-year-old boy died when a massive tree fell on his house while he and his mother were sleeping, according to first responders. And out west, extreme temperatures, with 27 million living under heat alerts from Texas to California. Phoenix expected to reach a sweltering 113. At a campaign event with former President Trump, 11 people treated for heat exhaustion.
Ice cold water!
All this before the summer's even begun. Tonight, in even the unlikely places, residents say they're wary of what's next.
All right, Aaron McLaughlin joins us tonight from Gaithersburg, Maryland, a mid-Atlantic tornado. It's so bizarre. What else do we know about the extent of the damage and how are communities dealing with something they really don't see every year?
Yeah, well, residents were absolutely shocked by what happened here last night, Tom. A number of homes were damaged in the area. This, though, appears to be the worst of it. This is the home of Martin Perez. According to Perez, it was 7:30 last night when they suddenly heard wind. A tree was simply tossed onto his home, trapping 5 members of his family and injuring them, including his wife. His wife is still being treated in the hospital. They've been spending the entire day cleaning up this situation. Thankfully, Perez says he does have homeowners insurance, and this could have been so much worse, Tom.
Yeah, it's incredible anyone survived that. You see them now trying to patch that up and put that home back together. All right, Aaron, we thank you for that. More dangerous weather, though, set to slam the East Coast, while out west temperatures are surging into the triple digits. Let's get right to NBC News meteorologist Bill Cairns, who joins us live. Bill, walk us through what you're seeing.
Yeah, so this was the radar last night at this exact time where we had this tornado outbreak ongoing in areas of Maryland. We mentioned the tragic tornado that took the life of that child outside of Detroit. And we also had a couple in Ohio, too. Things are calmer now, a lot calmer than last night at this time. We still have a severe thunderstorm watch that's up from Philadelphia all the way down to the Norfolk, Virginia Beach area. It does include Washington, D.C. and the Baltimore area and locations that had these bad storms last night. I've just been tracking one severe thunderstorm now crossing the Chesapeake, leaving Annapolis, heading over here towards Queenstown. This just has dangerous winds with it, maybe up to 50, 60 mile per hour gusts. We're still also watching this incredible heat wave in the west. And right now is like the peak heating of the day throughout many areas of the west. And it looks like we've tied our record high in Phoenix, 111. We've tied our record high for the date in Las Vegas. Many of these areas, this is the hottest you've been so far this early summer season. And tomorrow looks to be just as hot as today and tomorrow are the peak of this heat wave. Another 110 day in Vegas. You should break your record high again. Things will cool off, but it won't be as until we head to the weekend, Tom.
110 in Vegas. All right, Bill, we thank you for that. Now to power and politics, where those scorching temps actually hitting the campaign trail. Former President Trump held his first big post-conviction campaign event in Phoenix. Trump taking the stage earlier tonight for a town hall after supporters waited in 100-plus degree heat for hours outside the venue. The Phoenix Fire Department stationing multiple fire engines there to help with heat-related emergencies, as Aaron was reporting. Nearly a dozen people were transported because of heat exhaustion. For more on the former president's remarks tonight as he rolls out this new post-conviction phase of his campaign, let's get right to Vaughn Hilliard, who joins us tonight from that town hall in Phoenix there. Vaughn, early on in his address, Trump blasted Biden's executive order on the border. Here's part of what he said.
2 days ago, Joe Biden signed an executive order to officially declare his formal approval and support for the largest border invasion in the history of the world. So they come up with this order. I won't say it because I don't like using the word in front of these beautiful children. So I won't say it.
All right, Vaughn, sounds like he's gotten right back to the campaign trail. Talk to us about the crowd. What are some of the other remarks he was saying, and how he was being received there in that battleground state?
Right, Tom. I mean, we're just 5 months away here from the general election at this point. Arizona, this is his first stop in the state since 2022, and immigration is a significant issue here. And immediately after he made that statement from the stage, the crowd inside of this church began chanting in unison, BS. And so for Donald Trump, he understands the relevance of the issue, particularly here in the Southwest, and he was looking to drive it home. I also think, though, it's important to know that for Donald Trump, this was his first public campaign appearance since his guilty conviction in the state of New York. And he opened up his remarks by talking some about that case and directly suggesting that it was a, quote, rigged trial. And we talked to a great many folks outside who were fully aware of the trial and the convictions that came from it. But they said that Donald Trump is their man and has been for 8 years now. Take a listen to a few of the folks we talked to.
I want him to seek justice, truth, get truth back in, eliminate all of these bribes. There, in Proverbs, it's very clear, God hates unjust weights. And this nation right now is functioning on unjust weights. And a nation that's divided like this, it can't stand. We've got to rise up.
I don't want to see what happened in Germany years ago happen here in this country. I'm probably going to be dead before any big changes take place. But for my children and for all the children in this country, now's the time to stand up. All the things that started World War II. Just witch hunts and brainwashing people.
Donald Trump is going to be relying on these loyalist voters here, especially in these battleground states, to make up the difference. If you recall, just in 2020, in a state like Arizona, he lost by just 11,000 votes. And so for him, turning to this trial and making the case that it was unfair prosecution is going to be key to his campaign message over these coming months, Tom.
Vaughn, he's raising a lot of money. I want to put it up on the screen for our viewers. This is what they say they've raised, right? Since the conviction, hauling in a lot of money. I'm curious about that, the reporting on the fundraising, Vaughn, but also the crowd today there where you were. I mean, are we talking about hundreds of people, thousands, tens of thousands? Were there people waiting out and not getting in like we saw in 2016, or was this different?
On a 113-degree day, it was significant here for a weekday. We're talking about inside of this church, about 2,000 folks. There were more that were outside here. And for Donald Trump, it's not only is the campaign trail and actually having these public events important, but also you mentioned the money component of this. Tonight, he's actually flying to San Francisco for a private fundraiser where they're looking to raise as much as $12 million. They will then be going down to Southern California. They'll be holding fundraisers in Beverly Hills and also then going to Vegas for a fundraiser there as well, because they're currently, the campaign, at a cash disadvantage to the Biden campaign despite this big record-setting fundraising month for the Trump operation here. But when you're looking at 5 months out, this is the summer season here before that home stretch there, where this is an opportunity to really hone in and try to make some money there to help the campaign in that home stretch, Tom.
Finally, Vaughn, I want to talk to you about Trump's one-time White House advisor, Steve Bannon, who obviously worked on his 2016 campaign as well, appearing in court today and ordered to report to prison on July 1st. Remind our audience what this case is about and why Bannon is now heading to prison.
Right. Steve Bannon is still very much a relevant voice for the MAGA movement. He airs week or every day on radio, podcasts, and on air. And he's really become sort of a main go-to voice in the MAGA ecosystem of media today. And so for Steve Bannon, this stems from him having been found guilty by a jury for failing to comply with the request from Congress and a subpoena back in 2022 to appear before the January 6th Congressional Committee investigating the attack after Donald Trump's loss in the 2020 election. He refused to comply with that subpoena, was found guilty by the jury, went through the appeals process, and a D.C. court today ordered him to report for a 4-month prison sentence beginning on July 1st. That would lead him to leave prison right about the final week before the 2024 campaign. Donald Trump, in a social media post earlier, called out this prison sentence here. But again, Steve Bannon is a major voice, but now going to be suffering the consequences of this 4-month prison for not complying with that subpoena.
Vaughn Hillier with a lot of reporting on the Trump front from the campaign trail. Vaughn, we appreciate it. Now to the latest at the border and President Biden's executive action. The measure will shut down asylum requests once daily encounters top 2,500, right? That's what he said. But in the first 24 hours since the executive order went into effect, Border Patrol says roughly 4,000 migrants crossed the border illegally. So what's going on? Julia Ainsley joins us now. And Julia, there seems to be concerns from the agents on the ground.
Yeah, well, first of all, what these numbers show us, Tom, is that there was not an immediate impact of this order. The same number of migrants crossed the border on Wednesday after that went into effect as they did on Monday and Tuesday of this week, around 4,000, which means there's no time in sight that this order could actually come down, because the chances of getting down to 2,500 per day or 1,500 per day to relieve this order seem very slim. That hasn't happened under this administration. But what we're hearing from agents on the ground is that they're concerned that this is an unfunded mandate, that they're being asked to take in migrants, process them, and deport them, not let them claim asylum. Yet there are so many migrants who can't be deported. If you're from countries like Venezuela, China, other places in the Eastern Hemisphere, these countries refuse to take back their migrants. And even those who can take back their migrants, it takes an awful lot of time to process someone, get the paperwork together, put them on a plane, and deport them back to their home country. In fact, in the last year, the Biden administration was only able to deport half the number per month as we're crossing per month. So there's a lot of concern that they could have a lot of backlogs and overcrowded facilities if they don't get more funding from Congress for more manpower and more space, Tom. And we're also hearing from migrants who are really confused about what this order means. And I think you can see that in the numbers, because so far it hasn't had an impact on keeping people from crossing the border in the first place. So these are just the first numbers in the first 24 hours after the order, but it's something to watch to see if this order actually makes an impact and has any kind of effect on what we're seeing at the southern border.
Julia Ainsley with new reporting for us tonight. Julia, we thank you for that. We want to turn now to Normandy, France, where the president is. World leaders, including President Joe Biden, making the 80th anniversary of the D-Day invasion, honoring the Allied troops who battled on the beaches there in 1944, turning the tide of World War II. Peter Alexander was there today to witness all those ceremonies.
80 years later, where youthful bravery landed, today these last surviving heroes returned. Just above the shores where 150,000 Allied troops waded into the surf and were met by an endless barrage of Nazi bullets. From the president, a solemn tribute.
It's the highest honor to be able to salute you here in Normandy once more. All of you, God love you.
Fewer than 200 of America's sons who stormed these beaches on D-Day to help reclaim the continent from Nazi Germany are still with us. The commander-in-chief today greeting many of them, most wearing their uniforms, some in wheelchairs, and over 100 years old. President Biden touting the unified front of Western allies that succeeded on D-Day.
It was a powerful illustration of how alliances, real alliances, make us stronger. A lesson that I pray we Americans never forget.
On this anniversary, the president also harnessing the heroism of that day to highlight the urgent threat that hovers over Europe and the danger of a Russian victory in Ukraine.
Will we stand against tyranny, against evil, against crushing brutality of the iron fist? Will we stand for freedom? Will we defend democracy?
Among the most poignant and personal moments, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky embraced by a D-Day veteran.
Oh, you're the savior of the people.
We visited with Tom Hanks, who's helped tell the story of America's greatest generation.
We have a few men and women who I see as being 16, 17, 18, maybe 25 years old. Were it not for their choice to come and do the right thing 80 years ago, you and I would not be staying here right now.
And late today, we met 100-year-old Corporal Harold Terrence, who was just a 20-year-old kid from the Bronx when he landed here, and telling us about the memories that still haunt him.
War is disgusting. If you've ever been on the battlefield, you know, you have nightmares.
But this weekend marks a new beginning. Just miles from here, he'll marry his 96-year-old fiancée, trusting all the friends he lost will be with him.
I love each and every one of them. I just feel good coming here. It brings back unpleasant memories, but it makes me feel good that I haven't forgotten any one of them or anything.
And this year's anniversary event had a special resonance for so many of those heroes. Some of the veterans themselves acknowledging this may be their last trip here to Normandy, but not 100-year-old Corporal Harold Terrence, who told me tonight he'll be back here next year with his new bride. Tom?
An incredible spirit, and it's going to be a great trip. All right, Peter Alexander, we thank you for that awesome report. Later in the broadcast, we'll introduce you to one of the women who played a critical role in guiding Allied troops on D-Day, the high honor she received at 103 years old. It's another great story. And also still ahead tonight, the FBI raid linked to jury tampering. Did you hear about this one? A juror in a pandemic relief fraud case finding a bag filled with $120,000 in cash at her home. The defendant now under another investigation because of it. Plus, the crew of a large container ship losing steering power just as it was approaching a major bridge in South Carolina. What happened next? And a major ruling on Juul, why the FDA is lifting a marketing ban on the popular vaping product. Stay with us. We're back now with the latest in the federal criminal gun trial of President Biden's son, Hunter. Hallie Biden, Hunter's ex-girlfriend and the widow of his brother, Beau, testifying he introduced her to crack cocaine and told her he was using it after completing a background check to buy a gun. Ryan Nobles has the latest from outside that courthouse in Delaware.
Tonight, the prosecution in Hunter Biden's federal criminal gun trial calling Hallie Biden the widow of Hunter's brother Beau, who Hunter had a romantic relationship with after his brother died. Hallie Biden testifying she found the gun Hunter purchased, the one prosecutors alleged he bought after lying on a background check, claiming he was not an active drug user. Prosecutors showing this video of Hallie Biden tossing the gun in the trash outside a grocery store. She told the jury, "I didn't want him to hurt himself or my kids to find it and hurt themselves," adding, "I realize it was a stupid idea now, but I was just panicking," and testified about his drug use. He would be agitated, high-strung, she said, saying she saw him with crack rocks the size of ping pong balls, adding that Hunter introduced her to crack. "It was a terrible experience that I went through, and I'm embarrassed and ashamed of that period of my life." Prosecutors saying that Hunter was still using drugs just days after filling out the background check, showing the jury a text message from the time where Hunter told Hallie, quote, "I was sleeping on a car smoking crack." On cross-examination, Biden defense lawyer Abby Lowell asking, "You have no idea whether he was just saying that or whether he was actually there," asked Lowell. "Correct," Hallie said. Lowell also getting Hallie to concede that despite her impressions of Hunter's behavior and finding drug paraphernalia, she never physically saw him use drugs in October of 2018.
First Lady Jill Biden was in France today and not in the courtroom, but she's flying back here to Wilmington to be with her son in court tomorrow, and then will fly back to France this weekend. Meanwhile, her husband, the President of the United States, said that even if his son is convicted in this trial, he will not offer him a pardon. Tom?
All right, Ryan Nobles, we appreciate that. When we come back, is another meme stock craze on the way? The announcement from Roaring Kitty that sent GameStop stocks soaring again. That's next. Okay, we are back now with Top Stories Newsfeed. We start with a close call in Charleston after a container ship lost control near a major bridge. Video showing the barge barreling towards the bridge before its crew eventually regained control. The bridge and nearby beaches evacuated because of the danger. Other boaters pulling over into rocks. The ship made it through without damaging the bridge, but it's still anchored while the Coast Guard investigates. An update, GameStop shares soaring again after meme stock leader Roaring Kitty scheduled a live stream for Friday. It would be his first live stream in almost 4 years and comes after he posted another screenshot alleging his GameStop holding is valued at more than $500 million. NBC has not independently verified that. Roaring Kitty, whose real name is Keith Gill, resurfaced online this weekend, more than 3 years after he set off a meme stock craze. And the FDA announcing it's reversing a ban on Juul e-cigarettes. The company first ordered the company to stop selling and marketing the products in 2022. However, they have stayed on shelves pending an appeal. The FDA says it's lifting the ban as it reviews new court decisions and considers updated information provided by Juul. Okay, we have another shocking twist in a pandemic relief fraud trial in Minnesota. The FBI raiding the home of one of the defendants days after someone tried to bribe one of the jurors on the case by bringing $120,000 in cash to her doorstep. Rahima Ellis has this story.
At dawn on Wednesday, federal authorities raiding this Minneapolis home belonging to the man prosecutors say is the ringleader of one of the largest pandemic fraud schemes in the nation, as they investigate the stunning effort to bribe a juror serving on his trial. The fate of that ringleader, Abdiaziz Farah, and his 6 co-defendants tonight in the hands of the jury, which now includes 2 alternates. According to a warrant filed by the FBI, an unidentified woman showed up at the doorstep of juror number 52 on Sunday night with a gift bag containing $120,000 in cash and handed it to the juror's relative. The woman told the relative to tell juror number 52 to say not guilty tomorrow, and there would be more of that present. That juror and a second who was asked about the alleged bribe by a family member, both dismissed by the judge, who ordered the defendants to turn over their phones and ordered them to be held in jail until there is a verdict.
If it turns out that other jurors also had knowledge of this amount of money that was left, then it is possible that the entire integrity of the trial could have been undermined by this outside influence, which then could possibly lead to the judge declaring a mistrial.
Authorities have not confirmed if the raid on Farah's home was connected to the bribe investigation. According to the criminal complaint, The defendants are accused of stealing more than $40 million of federal child nutrition program funds, money meant to feed children during the pandemic. But prosecutors allege the defendants generated fake invoices and used that money to buy multiple homes, properties, and luxury vehicles. As the jury deliberates, the source of that bribe still a mystery, with no charges filed yet.
It's possible that the defendants were involved, but that's no way the surefire sign. As members of the public come through, and many associates also, it's possible that other people could have identified who these jurors are.
All right, Rahima Ellis joins us now on set. So, Rahima, do we have any sense of how massive this fraud case is and how far it goes?
We don't know that yet. In fact, the truth is that the source of the alleged bribe is still a mystery. When the FBI raided this home connected to the alleged bribery scheme, they've not yet told us what the outcome is, and we may never know really what the FBI is going to reveal about the raid on that particular house. We know that there are 7 current defendants. They are just the 7 of the first of 70 defendants that are going on trial in this alleged scheme, and 18 others have already pleaded guilty to this, to what's going on here in terms of them looking at this fraud in terms of this money that was misused, according to the prosecutors, that was supposed to be used to feed children during the COVID, and allegedly they used it for their own purposes.
All right, when we come back, guiding a path to victory as the world marks 80 years since D-Day, one World War II veteran receiving France's highest honor for the map she created for the troops storming the beaches of Normandy, why she's being called a, quote, hero in the shadows. Stay with us. We're back now with more coverage on the 80th anniversary of D-Day. As world leaders honored the heroes who stormed the beaches of Normandy, one woman received France's highest honor for her vital work she did back in England. Her maps guiding hundreds of British soldiers on that fateful day. NBC's Ellison Barber tells her remarkable story.
Heroes in uniform, returning to Normandy, France, marking 80 years since D-Day. World leaders showing their appreciation as veterans take in the hero's welcome on the shores of Omaha Beach, where Allied forces conducted the largest naval invasion in history.
This is the day for which free people long have waited. This is D-Day.
Only men were eligible for combat at the time, but the women's branch of the UK's Royal Navy played a key role that day. Christian Lamb is 103 years old today. In her 20s, she'd moved to France for school, but decided to return home to England when she heard that war was imminent.
I always felt very strongly about France, and I really wanted anything that would help me to get the France back to the French. I wanted them to belong to each other again. It was a terrible thing to think of them being in the hands of the Germans.
Lamb went to work in a tiny office, making maps of landing places that Allied troops would need on D-Day. In her memoir, Beyond the Sea, A Wren at War, she explains how she used large maps, the kind that can only hang on walls, to create pocket-sized guides that pilots could take with them to easily identify landmarks and orient themselves from the air. They showed railways, roads, churches, and castles. Little details with an enormous impact. Her maps helped British troops navigate to their precise destinations and escape enemy fire. In the fog of war, it often takes time to make out the heroes. But now the world knows Christian Lamb.
That constant selflessness and devotion.
French President Emmanuel Macron honoring her work with a medal, France's highest honor in military and civilian life, the Legion of Honor.
We wanted to have just a special moment for you, Mrs. Lamb. You were one of those heroes in the shadows, I would say. You were not there in person, dear Christian Lamb. But you guided each step they took.
Lamb says her contribution was, quote, just part of life.
I feel very glad that I was able to do something useful for that. I don't feel that anybody owes me anything for it.
But it was so much more. Christian Lamb, officially recognized as a hero. on the ground she so diligently studied 80 years ago. Ellison Barber, NBC News.
An incredible story. We thank Ellison for that. All right, we thank you so much for watching Top Story tonight. I'm Tom Llamas in New York. Stay right there. More news on the way.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.